Hey, what's up guys? Strike here and welcome back to LEGO Batman 3 and today we are going to be reviewing the episode of The Flash known as The Brave, or not The Flash, Arrow episode, Season 3 episode for the Flash Arrow crossover. I believe it was called Brave and the Bold as opposed to the Flash episode, which was just Arrow versus Flash. And in this episode we got more of the Arrow type spin on our crossover. Of course, we had a few scenes with the classic Arrow flashback, as we normally do, where he is learning how to interrogate someone. And when Barry Allen comes to Starling City from Central City, because I totally remember the name of the city now, we get to see Barry react to how Oliver tends to hand things in his city that many have failed. And yeah, it appears that Barry isn't exactly approving of how he does things. We got to see Detective Lance again, who hasn't been as active in this season as he normally, or he was, you know, in the past seasons. But we did get the Flash come to a Starling, and no fight scene this time, which, you know, it's not bad. Actually, it's kind of good since the heroes are on each other's side now. But yes, the Flash goes up against his enemies. His enemy Captain Boomerang, who is a classic Flash villain, I think. But I'd like to correct myself from the last video. I really thought, because I thought I saw it in one of the trailers for this crossover, that Captain Cold and Firestorm were going to be in it, but apparently not, which is a little disappointing. I could have sworn in one of the trailers for the Flash Arrow crossover, or Flaro as people have been calling it, which is kind of weird, they thought Captain Boomerang, or I thought that they were totally going to be in this, but they weren't. So I apologize for any people who I might have confused if they saw my thing and then watched tonight's episode of Arrow. Yes, Captain Boomerang was in it. He was awesome. I really liked the way he did him. Like, oh my gosh, it was awesome. I don't know if Captain Boomerang's been done in live action before, but if he has, it wasn't as awesome as this was, because this was just plain epic. Yeah, so in tonight's episode, you know, of course, like I said, we got to see a little bit of Laurel, a little bit of Thea, a little bit of, like I said, Detective Lance. We got to see a preview of next week's episode, but I'm not going to get into that. Yeah, the crossover was pretty awesome. Apparently, Arrow's got a new suit that was upgraded, which is actually really cool. I can't wait to see that. But, yeah, this crossover was just as good, and if not better, than the one last night. I really enjoyed watching it. I'm trying to think of things to say. Oh yeah, Captain Boomerang targeted Diggle's ex-wife, or not ex-wife. I don't know. Okay, apparently they were married, but they're not married anymore. So I'm assuming they're divorced. So yeah, ex-wife. And yeah, Captain Boomerang almost killed her, which was pretty crazy. I just love the way that they're doing this kind of crossover. I really wish more DC characters would come to the small screen like this, like TV show wise. I mean, I know we've got Gotham and Constantine, but Gotham I don't see ever being in the same universe as Arrow, sadly. And yeah, I don't know. I just really would love to see. I know we've got the Atom coming soon, and we've seen like Katana, but I really want to see characters like bigger characters like Superman and Wonder Woman in this universe. But I don't know if we're ever going to. That's the sad part about it. Arrow is like my favorite TV show right now. I mentioned that in the Flash crossover episode. God, it was just such a great crossover. I'm really glad they had this, because I can't believe I landed on that. If you like seeing this kind of thing, you're definitely going to love it. I don't know if they're going to air it again anytime soon. I mean, they're probably doing Encore later on tonight or something. I'm not sure. It was just awesome, guys. I know they teased some stuff for the next few episodes of Arrow and Flash, but I'm not going to get into those until the end of this video. Yeah, so in this episode, it's a better connection between Barry and Oliver that we get to see. We get to see them both kind of get along better, except for the fact, like, a little conflict with them, with the way Oliver, like, torments people and gets information. Yes, Barry wasn't exactly too happy with that. Yes, we saw... God, who was it? His little teammates, Siskel, and the chick who died, or whose fiance died, I should say. Yes, they came to Starling, and they kind of helped out with some of the stuff. Kind of threw in a bit of humor there, which was kind of cool. They kept referring to the Arrow Cave and Arrowmobile, which makes me think that Batman already exists in this universe, but they just, you know, never mentioned him at all. Yeah, I don't know how, if they ever do this, if they ever do, like, have, like, a Batman in the Arrowverse, I'm really interested to see how they would pull him off. I know he's not really relevant to this episode, but, well, I mean, you know, it's a crossover, so, you know, you should be getting excited for, like, oh, what if once Adam comes on the show, that's gonna be cool. And, you know, what about other Justice League members? Because Adam isn't exactly an A-list Justice Leaguer. I mean, we're talking the Flash is normally considered one of the original 7, and Green Arrow actually isn't. So I'm really curious. I mean, in this universe, he could be considered one of the original 7, but I'm just curious if they do ever get to the point of doing a Justice League or something of that sort, or show members of the Justice League. Who is going to play Superman? Who is going to, like, you know, be Wonder Woman, be Batman, be, well, we already know who the Flash is, be Green Lantern? How are they going to pull it off? I feel like characters like Green Lantern and Superman might fit better into the Flash show, since that's all about superpowers and stuff, and, you know, Batman might be better in a show like Arrow. But, you know, I'm not just saying that because Arrow is my favorite compared to Flash, and I like Batman. Batman's like my favorite character in the whole DC universe. But, yes, it makes me wonder how far are they going to go with these kinds of crossovers, and who is going to be part of them. Like, obviously, like I said, the Atom is one of them, because the Atom is kind of being teased with Ray Palmer, played by Brandon Routh, who was also Superman at one point. But yeah, it makes me curious. I know this isn't really technically a review, but, you know, it's always fun to think about. Once again, this episode, I think, was far better than last night's Flash episode with the crossover. We just get to see kind of like the darker side of this kind of universe, because, you know, the Flash isn't used to that, and I think that's really cool. And God, I don't even know if his name is Siskel or whatever the long-haired dude who works at Star Labs with the Flash, his name is, I don't know, but he did say something pretty powerful at the end that I thought was pretty cool in terms of this whole superhero thing. Most of the Green Arrow villains have not had superpowers, unless you count Mirakuru as a superpower. I wouldn't count it as a superpower, but unless you count stuff like that as superpowers, at least none of the TV show versions of Green Arrow's enemies are superpowered. The Flash's supervillains are metahumans, as they are called, and the character at the end of the show says something pretty powerful. Because he says something along the lines of, because these metahuman enemies have superpowers, it almost takes away from the realistic. It makes their crime seem less real. What they're doing seem less real. He said something along those lines, and I think that's pretty darn powerful. Because you think about it, villains with superpowers are like you know, they do crazy crap, but, you know, superpowers are not. What they're doing is still evil, and it still hurts people. So that was pretty powerful. That was an interesting little thing I thought they said at the end of the episode. I really like how they did that. Once again, Arrow is getting a new suit, and I'm really excited to see what it is, or what it's like. I hope it's more comic book-like, since, you know, the comic book version of Arrow, as you can see here, is it's sleeveless. It's got like a bunch of cool designs on it and stuff, and he's not necessarily wearing his hood all the time. In fact, this version just doesn't have the hood in general. I don't know how lightning is striking on the moon, don't ask me. But anyway, that was my Flash Arrow crossover. Now I do want to talk about the previews of the episodes that they showed for the Flash. They teased Reverse Flash a little bit, which you've been waiting all season to see this guy. I cannot wait to see Professor Zoom, or Reverse Flash, whatever they call him. I think it's just Reverse Flash now. I can't wait to see how they do him in this show. And also for Arrow, we got to see a little bit of Ra's al Ghul. This is the only Ra's al Ghul in the game, so I gotta use the Dark Knight version. And Liam Neeson said he would have loved to return as Ra's al Ghul, go with Ra's al Ghul. And I actually kind of, not really my own theory, but a theory of what they could have done if they had Liam Neeson. They could have put it, even though I would have hated this because I really want a Arrow Batman crossover really bad. They could have easily put Liam Neeson in this show. Came up with the whole Lazarus Pit thing, and then Batman's retired, and maybe Batman's back and stuff. But that was my little theory. Ra's al Ghul is coming to Arrow. Well, he was already like shown in Arrow, but this time he's actually going to be in like an episode or something like that, like a full episode as an enemy, which is pretty darn cool if you ask me. And Professor Zoom, aka Reverse Flash, is coming to the Flash. But yes, this was my Arrow Brave and the Bold episode review. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I kind of rambled on a bit. But yes, thank you all so much for watching. And remember not to fail this city, or else you'll end up like Barry here. Which I'm just gonna shoot or smack or do whatever to. You have failed this city, Barry. Yeah. Alright. Anyway, Arrow wins. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Later, taters.